Hello guys, I'm Jarrett Kanzer. I'm a food and resource economics student here at the University of Florida, and I'm obviously in class with you. So for my presentation on alternative cropping systems, I chose to do aquaponics. This is an aquaponics system, although you'll have to forgive me, I do not have the fish and plants in it yet because I had to wait for the water quality to equalize and the pH to get right. But anyhow, so basically how it works is you have your grow bed on top and it has pH neutral, 7 grow medium. You put the plants in here, you have a grow light. You actually don't need sunlight. Plants don't generally need yellow rays of light to grow. And then you have your water, which obviously is where the fish stay. So the fish, you feed them, they defecate, that gets pumped up here with this little water pump into your grow bed, which the plants then absorb the ammonia and the nutrients and some dissolved oxygen, and then the water comes back out in for the fish, and it's clean enough for them to survive in. So that is essentially what we're working with. This differs from a conventional system in the sense that a conventional system would be just dirt, and then you would plant your plants in that, and you would either irrigate them, you would wait for rain, you would intensively fertilize them. Most of that fertilizer would run off or leach into the ground. So it's really a sunk cost at that point. Some of it gets absorbed, but most of it does not. So that's an issue that you don't have with aquaponics because it's in solution and it's kept here in a semi-closed system. The only way you lose water in aquaponics is through evaporation and obviously the plant's intake, but you sell that, what they produce. So that's another added benefit of having aquaponics as an alternative cropping system to conventional, in-ground systems. So yeah, obviously whenever you irrigate a crop in a field, most of that water goes. It actually leaches the ground of some of its nutrients. And so those types of intensive farming practices aren't nearly as sustainable as these. This pump runs on very little electricity, so does this light. It's actually LED, which is incredible to me. So that's basically how they work. Whenever some of the differences, in this system, you produce protein and produce. So, you would have your tomato plants in here, lettuce, whatever. And then in a larger system, you would put tilapia or catfish or something that you could actually sell to market. So not only are you producing more efficiently, but you're also providing people with cleaner protein and, their nutrients through vegetables, which is kind of a big deal because in a normal system, you can't generally grow protein and plants at the same time because your biotic factors would be, large land herbivores that would, obviously eat your plants. So that would be a no good thing. Who benefits from these systems? So your laborers, you have fewer laborers, so that keeps costs down for the farmers. So that's plus for the farmers. Farmers spend less money on pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. You can get air scrubbers for your facility if you house it indoors like in a greenhouse, and those are about $800. And you can contrast that with, according to UC Berkeley, they did a study a couple years ago, and they found that to produce lettuce in a conventional system, you would spend $663 on weed control, and you would spend $574 on pest control per season. So you're actually already, in the black on your first season using a building and air scrubbers and things like that to keep pests down. So that's how you help the farmers. The consumers are getting a better product. It's cleaner. You don't have to spray pesticides because it's indoors, and you can keep those things out. Spray herbicides or fungicides either. Some fungicides are used depending on the system, but not nearly as widespread. Then you have the environmental impacts. So obviously I've already been over how this is more sustainable. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're losing a lot less of your inputs that actually stay in the system to get absorbed. So you're not just wasting them and contributing to algal blooms through, surface water runoff and nutrient degradation. Abiotic and biotic factors for this system, you have plants, fish. You also have good bacteria. That's a fundamental part of this system is having symbiotic relationships that already occur naturally, like in a pond, and utilizing those systems to produce an efficient and clean product. Whereas in a conventional system, you just don't have that. You would either have plants or you would have animals, and you're really only selling one or the other. Consumers, it still keeps the cost relatively low. The goods are typically a little more expensive, But at the same time, they can typically be sold as organic, so they would be more expensive anyway. Yeah, and then that's about it. You pretty much, it's pretty black and white really between the two systems. So these systems are obviously smaller. There are a couple firms that have started making like incredibly large facilities, like in Chicago. They're taking old meat processing plants and old automobile manufacturing centers that have closed down, and they're actually revamping them and making vertical systems, which your grow bed would then be up and the plants would be inside, and the water runs through those and out into the plants and the fish. So there is a way to upscale this, but right now most of these systems are in hobby farms, so you're not seeing a lot of this in the grocery store. You can find some aquaponic lettuce, not hydroponic, but not aquaponic, but hydroponic lettuce in stores in Gainesville, even at Walmart, and it's pretty expensive. So we're really just waiting on the market to catch up with this technology to make this more readily available for consumers. But thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.